Hey guys, and welcome back. In today's video we are going to be talking about what kind of bird you guys should get if you already have a budgie. So without further ado, thank you so much for clicking on today's video, and let's get right into it. So if you are looking into getting a friend for your budgie, it's not just, I want this bird and they should get along. It's not necessarily that they are going to get along, and you need to keep in mind whenever you are getting another bird that it could not work out and they can end up hating each other, and you could end up with 2 cages and twice the work. I'm very lucky that my birds get along very well, and they got along very well from the start. However, it does not mean that your birds are also going to get along. All birds as partners will bicker at some point, and it's just natural for them. And my birds bicker all the time, but they also do preen each other all the time and feed each other, so they are bonded. However, if you would like to get another bird for your budgie as a friend, I number 1 suggest getting another budgie. The reason being why I think you should get another budgie over a larger bird for your budgie is simply because they are the exact same size almost all the time, and they are the same species, and they have the biggest chances of getting along. Obviously, if you have a certain type of bird species and if you would like to get them a friend, the best thing is going to be to get them the same species. But what if you don't want a budgie? So that is completely fine. So what I would suggest is this video is basically literally going to be mentioning the best non-budgie partners that would most likely work out for your budgie. So number 1, what I personally think you should get other than a budgie is actually not a cockatiel. It's actually a linny. So a linny is a type of parrot that is very similar to parrotlets, and linnies are known to be bonded to budgies often, and I've heard that they get along very well a lot of the time. Linnies are a little bit smaller, I'm pretty sure, than a budgie. Here is a linny, and here is a parrotlet. As you can see, they are pretty different. As you can see, there is not much of a difference. However, linnies could be in blue, green, yellow, and white. However, parrotlets could only be in green and blue. You will never find a Latino parrotlet anywhere, or a pearl parrotlet. It's only in linnies that you could get all of the 4 mutations. The second best bird that you should get, if you don't want a budgie for your budgie, is a cockatiel. Cockatiels are extremely, extremely, extremely chill birds, and they are often also known to get along with budgies very well. Now, just keep in mind, whenever you have 2 birds, especially when they're not the same size and they're different species, you can't house a budgie and a cockatiel together. Budgies and cockatiels do have different personalities, but cockatiels are known simply to be bonded to budgies often is simply because of how chill they are. Cockatiels are extremely chill, and something that could potentially go wrong when you have a budgie and a cockatiel together is that a cockatiel is much bigger than a budgie, and your cockatiel could potentially injure your budgie. And this can't only be caused simply from your cockatiel being aggressive. This can be caused since budgies are very active birds. Most of them, however. Since of how active they are, they could potentially be annoying to your cockatiel, and your cockatiel just won't know what to do. So there is nothing wrong with getting a macaw and a budgie if they are bonded, which they shouldn't be bonded because that's probably not going to happen. However, if they do end up getting bonded, you should never house 2 different sized birds in the same cage, only if they are actually very bonded and if they get along very well. And keep in mind that this is pretty rare when different species get along very well and are able to be maintained in the same cage. Let's talk about green-cheeked conures. Green-cheeked conures are very popular birds as pets. However, do they get along with budgies? Well, conures, unlike cockatiels, are extremely, extremely active birds, and they could potentially get along together, but conures could be very territorial, and they are not much bigger than a budgie. A cockatiel is definitely bigger than a green-cheeked conure. However, this still doesn't mean that green-cheeked conures could get along good with budgies. Green-cheeked conures are actually known to not get along with budgies very well, and they could sometimes, but it's very rare. Green-cheeked conures could be very territorial depending on the bird, and they are always seeking for attention. And so if you are holding your budgie in front of them, they are most likely going to go ahead and shoo the budgie off and try to get all of your attention. Which is often why, if you do want to get two different species of birds, do not house them in the same cage, because possibly that other bird isn't going to let the first bird eat. But yeah, green-cheeked conures can be very territorial over a lot of things, and if you are going to house them together, and only if they are bonded, then make sure that your cage is massive. This is so that you can fit a bunch of things, and that your budgie could get away from your green-cheeked conure if needed. This is a pretty controversial topic in the bird community, and a lot of people say that cockatiels and budgies could never get along. But the truth is, they can. It's not very common, but they could, and they could potentially get along and not bonded. But if they do get along and they're not bonded, then I still suggest keeping them in different cages. When I was getting Treasure, my goal was not to bond the birds. My goal was to simply get them to be friends and for them to be able to be around each other without anyone getting too cranky. This is often what a lot of bird YouTubers do when they have a bird room and a bunch of different species. However, my birds, I was assuming that my birds would probably get along because they are both the same species. However, that was not my goal. My intent, I was at first actually going to get a cockatiel. I think a lot of you guys are aware of this. But then I simply decided to get a budgie because I thought Minty would be so much happier, and it's just going to make him so happy, and I knew that the chances of him getting along with the budgie would be a lot bigger than him getting along with a cockatiel. So that is going to be pretty much it for today's video. I really hope that you guys enjoyed it. Please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you get notified every single time that I post a new video. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!